You know, with all of the discussion, worthy discussion of Ukraine this week, something's getting lost, and it's Afghanistan. Frankly, more than just this week. I mean, Afghanistan has not been discussed of any consequence since we lost 13 of our personnel on the way out the door. It is a subject that the president was eager to respond to in his press conference this week. He was asked a question. There are deep issues among Americans about the competence of government, from the messy rollout of 5G this week to the Afghanistan withdrawal and other factors. And the president wanted to engage on that. He said, let's take Afghanistan. We were spending $1 trillion a week. I mean, $1 billion a week in Afghanistan for 20 years. Raise your hand if you think anyone was going to be able to unify Afghanistan under one single government. It's been the graveyard of empires for a solid reason. The president also said there was no way to get out of Afghanistan after 20 years easily. Not possible no matter what you did, and I make no apologies for what we did. It makes me wonder, what is going on in Afghanistan? Did we get everybody out? Matt Nelson is a former major in the Marine Corps, former ground intel officer, now board member for Save Our Allies. He'll tell us what that is. He's currently the COO for RMS. That's a global security company with operations throughout the world. Matt, thank you so much for being here. What is Save Our Allies?
Hey, Michael, thanks for having us on board. Yeah, Save Our Allies is an organic organization that stood up as a direct result of this botched pullout in Afghanistan. We had a lot of our own friends that were still on the ground in Afghanistan, and they had no way out. And so fellow board members, Chad Robichaux, Tim Kennedy, Nick Palmisano, got together and actually organized flights to go and get started out with one person. But by the time it was all over, we've moved about 17,000 people out of Afghanistan right now.
I mean, I remember at the time it was very organic, right? There was not official support that you were receiving, but rather these were military personnel who thought they knew that the ground situation demanded their involvement, or some were never going to get out. Do I have it right?
You have it spot on. And Save Our Allies developed and coalesced around a bunch of different organizations that were coming. So we reach out and are supporting multiple NGOs that are on the ground that are all veteran supported. Recent polls showed that 77% of the veteran community wants us to do something, wants to be involved, and believes it's the right thing to bring those folks back. And about 46% of the veteran community is actually involved in doing something actively.
Okay, so you're speaking in the present tense. Is this still going on, this work? Is it not yet over?
This has gone nonstop. Every free moment that I've had since mid-August has been dedicated to this. Specifically, in the tail end, when we were trying to get so many people out, and we had the explosions that claimed the lives of my fellow Marines, a Navy corpsman and a soldier, that particular time frame was a 60-hour window when almost none of us had any sleep. We were tirelessly working through every connection that we had in the U.S. government and foreign governments on the ground in Afghanistan to move people.
So, Matt, are you telling me there are still Americans there who want to get out, who need your assistance, Save Our Allies assistance, rather than go through, I guess I would describe it as conventional channels?
Absolutely. So there are a couple aspects that sort of show you the level of bureaucracy that we're having to deal with. 2 points. One are Americans and LPRs, legal permanent residents, that have family members or are in the country themselves. You're being told that you can leave. Let's go. But if you have a sister who's 14, you can't take her. If you have a daughter or a son who's 21, you can't take them. The U.S. State Department has put this narrow definition of what your family is. And that family is child under the age of 21 and spouse. That's it. And beyond that, you have to leave other people behind. So it's not the question that I don't want to go. It's I don't want to leave my 14-year-old sister to be married off to the Taliban. So is the Taliban standing or trying to stand in the way of you extracting these individuals? That is a constant struggle. We have a specific channel that we work through that all we do is catalog atrocities that are continuing to go on through all the different organizations that we work with. And you would be amazed at everything that's going there. One of our recent rescue mission, was for two Hazara girls, a 14-year-old and a 16-year-old, who were on the streets of Kabul. Their father had already been executed by the Taliban. Their mother had been imprisoned by the Taliban, and they were holding her until she gave the location of her 14 and 16-year-old daughter so that they could be pushed out as child brides. Within a couple of hours, we were able to get our teams, who are local Afghans who are still loyal to us, to the cause, to America, out there at their own risk, swoop these two girls off the streets. And within about 24 hours, we had them in safe houses in Pakistan.
So it's not just Americans that you are freeing.
No, it's not. We really go across the entire spectrum. It was recently stated that Afghanistan is the most dangerous place in the world right now to be a Christian. And we've got 11 Christians that we've been able to smuggle out, which is essentially getting them the right papers, making sure their identity isn't known as a Christian. And we actually got 6 of them out no shorter than 2 hours ago.
It's 2 hours ago as you and I are having this conversation.
Yes, sir. I got the positive confirmation that we had 6 Christians that we were able to get out of the country.
Matt, how often does the exit involve violence, a firefight, something similar?
We're at 0 right now, right? So our goal on this is to move. Now, violence, yes. We've had people trying to cross any number of border crossings and being beaten mercilessly by the Taliban at those sites. We've got brigadier generals. We've got national level intelligence assets. We've got, I've got the family of an active duty U.S. Marine. And that family of that active duty Marine is one of 77 families of active duty U.S. service members that we are tracking. And these are people who are actually wearing the uniform today in the United States military, but their mom, their dad, their brother, their sister are still over in Afghanistan.
What is the attitude of both the Biden administration and the U.S. government about, meaning military, as to your efforts at Save Our Allies? Are they supportive? Do they look the other way? What exactly is it?
The military across this entire spectrum, I think, is very supportive. I've personally had meetings with General Milley and his staff, and we've had nothing but positive support. Our biggest hurdles come from Department of State, which is a direct arm of the Biden administration. I always think of, Afghanistan's like a bad tattoo for the administration. They tell everybody that it looks exactly the way they want it to look, but they, spend their time trying to cover it up. And that's where it is right now. All
right. If people want more information, saveourallies.org, correct?
Yes, sir. Please come on and take a look at it. Yeah, we've got a lot of ongoing operations right now.
Awesome. Matt, thank you so much. Fascinating. I frankly knew none of what was still going on, and I'm happy for the update. SaveOurAllies.org. Keep up the good work.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate you.